What's up? My name is Carley Wright. I go to Alcorn State University. You're watching Stay Classy Bad Jazzy, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Bonjour mes amis, je m'appelle Jasmine and welcome back or welcome to my channel Stay Classy by Jazzy. Today I have a very special guest.
Hey, what's up?
This is Carly. She's a friend from high school and she goes to, let me make sure I said it right. Alcorn?
Yes, she got it.
Yeah, she's from Alcorn
State University.
By the way, I'm from the Belmont University.
No, that's not how you're supposed to do it. Not how you're supposed to do it.
Here we go.
You ready? You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are you guys ready?
Greetings and humble salutations. I'm Carly Wright and I'm reigning from the luxurious
That's a good word.
Nashville, Tennessee. And I am coming to you from the real ASU, Alcorn State University.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. We don't hear much of that either.
It's everywhere on the HBCU campus. So you will not go anywhere without hearing any of those words I just said. Greetings, humble salutations, or lustrous. Like, we love those words for whatever reason.
Lustrous. That just has a nice ring to it.
You know, I should start using it more, like, even for no reason. This is a real lustrous sack I'm wearing.
Alright, well, I'm not going to do all that because I just can't. I'm not really good at it. But I go to Belmont University, home of the Bruins. So any Bruins down here, let me know with the bear emoji. And what do you have?
Yeah, we're the Braves. So if you're a Brave, comment.
Let her know. Let us know.
Subscribe to her.
Hey.
You know, comment if you're a Brave. And I want to see all purple and gold in the comments.
And in Belmont, our colors are like patriotic. So blue and red. I want to see the hearts down there. Like, show some love down in the comments what school that you go to. And if you don't go to Alcorn,
or if you don't go to Belmont,
then
you know, still watch the video.
Yeah, like, and still comment down what school you go to.
Right.
Really cool.
Because this is going to be a very insightful conversation. We're hoping it is.
Very lustrous conversation. Before we get into the video, I just want to say, like, this is all good, positive, good conversation. We're not bashing any school. We're not saying that you have to go to Belmont, and not saying you have to go to Alcorn. Nope. But we're just wanting to highlight some of the topics and like things about going to a PWI versus going to a HBCU, and we're gonna get more into that into the video. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. Alright, so we're gonna first start off with saying, like, what's the difference between, like, what is a PWI, what does that stand for, and then, like,
what's an HBCU?
Yeah.
An HBCU is a historically black college or university.
Like TSU.
Yeah. TSU, Alcorn,
Howard, yeah.
Hampton.
Yeah.
Those are some really
Spelman.
famous ones.
Isn't Spelman?
Spelman, yeah, the all-girl one. Clark Atlanta. Morehouse for the guys.
Oh, yes.
What else? Southern people. JSU, Jackson State. Morgan State University. I know you're out there somewhere.
How did I forget about Fisk? I'm so sorry.
Poor Fisk. I'm so, yeah, we're sorry.
I've been there.
There's a plethora of HBCUs out there, so we're, you know, those are just to name a few, but totally do your research on some of those if you're interested in them.
And PWI just stands for predominantly white institution. There's not much you can, like, get confused about that. It's just the majority of the students are Caucasian. So, yeah. So, if you didn't know, now you know. We're going to just jump into some questions and some topics I want to talk about. Just kind of like addressing some like issues and like pros and cons of going to an HBCU and PWI. And we're just going to touch on like our own personal experience, you know, being like a black student at like HBCU versus my experience being a black student at a PWI.
So, do you guys think there's equal or no opportunities when you're comparing a PWI and HBCU? Like, you can comment that below.
Look at you.
Like, I want to know their answers. So, you know, if y'all have some nice, elaborative answers.
Lustrous. I'm gonna keep inserting that in.
If you have some nice, lustrous answers, you better drop those in the comments below. What do you think?
I'm not well versed in this kind of topic. A lot of the students there, like a PWIs, their parents or families or alumni are able to fund the programs that they have there, and they're able to, and a lot of them come from like higher income families, so they have the means to be able to pay for their child or children to go to that school, versus HBCUs is kind of like we're talking about, saying like schools that were built to kind of serve like minorities and black students, which historically just kind of more underserved population, if you know what I mean. So we don't really have like enough money to kind of be considered equals in that kind of sense. So I definitely believe PWIs have more funding and more opportunities. But not saying that HBCUs don't. They do. But if you're going to compare the two, PWIs have more.
Well, like I would say, even if you do go to PWI and you say they have more, and you're a black student or you're a minority student, how much access do you have to those opportunities?
That's a good point.
That's what you have to like think about. Like they may have more opportunities, but do they have more opportunities for you specifically? Because
as like a black student or like a minority student?
As a minority student in general, like and specifically as a black student, if you're going to PWIs, like can you access those opportunities? If you can't, and you can't, you might be that 1% that can or cannot. Then on the HBCU side, we have those opportunities set up specifically for us, for minorities, and all of them are accessible for us. So from that point of view, it may seem like there are more on this HBCU side. And personally, I got a full ride to this school. Thank you. And I see it as like that's a big opportunity that I had access to, and not a lot of PWIs reached out to me. That just wasn't my luck, but hey, that's just something to think about.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm now thinking about it, like the scholarships. Like I'm on some scholarships at my school. I'm unfortunately not full ride, but I've been able to, like, in a sense, take away some of the costs of going to Belmont to where it's more affordable. But I do notice that the scholarships that we have, the requirements, like a certain GPA and a certain, amount, like criteria for, like, I guess for entering the school like that, it's a lot more advanced or steeper. So a lot of students typically who are a minority may not be able to, kind of meet those criteria, which makes it a lot harder. Versus, I know I watched another video about this saying, like, some HBCUs, if you compare like their criteria to get into the school, the ACT or SAT scores might be a little bit lower, or the GPA requirements might be a little bit lower depending on what school it is. So it's a lot easier for students who have like a lower score compared to other students who have a higher score. Like, this is like a comparison thing. Not saying like they're not smart enough to get into the school. It's just the way it's set up.
Yeah.
They don't have the opportunity or the access, like you said, to actually go to this kind of school.
I'm glad you said that. Like the way it's set up, like HBCUs. Again, thinking of the history, they were made to help minorities succeed when there was a society surrounded, like at that time period where they could not succeed.
Right.
So it's not because HBCUs don't accept smart students or don't have smart students there. They just set it up that way where you can have that opportunity to receive an education, like you would receive an education at a school that is predominantly white.
So Carly's next question was, do you think HBCUs are still important in this now day and age?
Yes, they are still important. They are very, very important. The way schools are set up, there are a lot of minorities and just the world in general. I'm not going to make that a state-specific thing.
Yeah.
Where those kids are not getting proper education. There's low funding in certain areas of states, and those kids just do not have access to those opportunities compared to other students that are not like them, right? Mm-hmm. So HBCUs give those students that grew up in those poor environments, not well, funded environments, to go to college with the grades they have. And that's why I still think it's important. The HBCUs are still proving why they exist through that, because like we said, historically, that's why they were built. They were built to give people a chance at education who did not have that chance.
I mean, you basically took the words in my mouth, honestly. I don't know what else I can say. I mean, I don't attend an HBCU. I'm aware of them. I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I'm aware of them. But I definitely feel like they're needed, just in a sense, like, I'm going to tackle it in the sense of celebrating Black culture and, like, I guess minority cultures of minorities in a sense, because if you take that away, then, you know, it's like you got a good steak, you know, but sometimes you need that butter to top it off. I feel like HBCUs top it off, give it that, you know, like a little pizzazz, you know.
That little it would just be taking away a chunk of our history that is still standing today.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say.
There's a lot that has been erased for our community.
And not documented either.
Not documented.
Word of mouth.
Right. Like, it's just a lot that we don't know about ourselves, and HBCUs provide that long-standing history that is, you know, they're still here, and they can provide us with that information.
They're like museums. You know,
living
museums.
They're not dead. Don't allow them to die.
Don't keep them around. You know, they're just like, I'm really glad you said that. That was the point I was trying to make, but then I got lost when I said steak. But I was trying to say these are like little bits and pieces of history. You know, how we have the Declaration still preserved. Why can't we preserve our HBCUs? You know,
right? That's a great point. That's a great point. So, if your alumni, your parents are alumni, encourage them to give back to your HBCUs.
Yes, for sure.
If you went to HBCU, and if you wanted to go, how do you think that would look for your life? Like, would you know?
Honestly, like, Belmont's a great school. Like, I'm not knocking it, and if you go to Belmont, you're making a great decision based on, like, whatever you want out of a college. There's some great things I love about Belmont. Like, one thing that's missing is that liveliness on the campus that you would get at an HBCU. Thinking of like marching band, you know, I think like music's really big. Your marching band there.
You cannot beat the band.
Yeah, you can't like. No. I'm sorry, Belmont, I love you, but
Sounds of Dynamite.
You can't.
You can't come for us.
And I feel like a lot of people are more like know like TSU's marching band.
Yeah.
HBCUs
are known for.
Oh. I'm so excited. I spit a little bit, but like, I wish I had that part. Like, I wish Belmont had that in their campus, because I see people Snapchat. I'll see your Snapchat. I see my friend who goes to Howard and her Snapchat. They seem fun, lively. The marching band just like I wish Belmont had that, and that's one thing that I feel like I would have totally enjoyed at HBCU. Do you feel like a minority in your classroom?
Oh no.
See, not that it's at the forefront of my brain, but I'm aware that I'm a minority in my classroom, so I know if I went to Howard, I wouldn't feel that way, and I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate to, like, you know, how we grew up, our sense of fashion, the way we talk, the way we act, the music we listen to.
Piggybacking off of that, that's definitely a great pro to being in HBCU, or you get surrounded by people, or you just get engulfed into a culture that always existed, but you may, because you grew up in a predominantly white area or system, that you never got engulfed into or, you know, brought into. And HBCUs definitely do that. At HBCU, you learn that there are many different types of Black people, and that's why I would say HBCUs are diverse. Like, that's I've heard that a lot personally. The HBCUs aren't diverse from people who may not know a lot about it, and that's why that's a reason for not going. I would refute that ideology, saying they are diverse. Like, there are many different types of Black people at HBCU, and many different types of Black people that need to be accepted at HBCU. I can count how many Nigerian people I've met at my campus. Like, they make
Love to you guys.
They make up half of my campus. So the diversity is definitely there at HBCU. I would say HBCUs have a really supporting culture. Like she said, she feels like a minority in her classroom. Despite the diversity, like, at HBCU, I don't feel like a minority in my classroom. I feel like, okay, we're all in this together, Alcorn. Like, But I don't feel like a minority. I feel like we're, like, just all supporting each other. We're all going for that education. And what a HBCU did for me was, you know, showed me that representation that needed to be there. Like, I saw a lot of Black students or minority students wanting to learn, and that was like, whoa, y'all want to learn? Hey, I want to learn too. Let's get these A's together.
Yes, I like that mindset so much.
It's been great so far. The negative perspectives on HBCU, I would, if you ever hear any, I would challenge you to take it upon yourself to learn about HBCUs.